Ali MacGraw and Steve McQueen, two of Hollywood's most glamorous icons, seemed like the perfect couple in the public eye. The golden-haired actress, known for Love Story, and the rugged, magnetic king of cool starred in films and graced red carpets, creating a love story that fans envied. But behind the flashes of cameras and the glossy magazine covers, their marriage was far from the fairy tale it appeared to be. Steve McQueen, adored by millions for his brooding charm and daring stunts, was a man of contradictions. On screen, he exuded control, power, and confidence. Off-screen, he wrestled with demons, anger, insecurity, and an inability to fully commit emotionally. Ali MacGraw, the sweet yet determined actress, quickly learned that love with McQueen came with its own turbulent price. From the start, their union was filled with drama. Passionate highs were followed by devastating lows. The Hollywood lifestyle only intensified the strain. Long separations for film shoots, constant public scrutiny, and relentless media speculation made intimacy difficult. Arguments that began over small misunderstandings could escalate into full-blown fights, leaving emotional scars that never fully healed. For Ali, the marriage became a journey of heartbreak, resilience, and survival. She faced a man whose charisma captivated the world, but whose personal struggles threatened their relationship daily. The story of their marriage is not just one of love and fame. It's a story of human vulnerability, the sacrifices behind Hollywood glamour, and the harsh truths that even the most enviable relationships can hide. So what really went wrong between Ali MacGraw and Steve McQueen? What secrets did the cameras never capture? And how did a love so celebrated publicly crumble behind closed doors? Stay with us. The untold story is more dramatic and heartbreaking than anyone could imagine. Ali MacGraw's journey to stardom began long before she met Steve McQueen. Born in New York City in 1939, she was raised in a privileged environment, attending elite schools and exploring her interests in dance and modeling. By the late 1960s, Ali had already built a successful modeling career, appearing on the covers of Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. But it was her transition to acting that truly propelled her into the Hollywood spotlight. Her breakthrough role came in 1970 with Love Story, where she starred opposite Ryan O'Neal. The film became an instant classic, earning her widespread acclaim and a Golden Globe Award. Overnight, Ali MacGraw became one of Hollywood's most sought-after actresses, admired not only for her beauty, but also for her talent, poise, and emotional depth. She was the embodiment of grace and charm, a rising star in an era defined by glamorous actors and unforgettable love stories. Around the same time, Steve McQueen was already an established icon. Known as the King of Cool, McQueen's fame came from a combination of charisma, talent, and an on-screen intensity that captivated audiences. Films like Bullet and The Key to Great Escape solidified his reputation as a leading man and action star. He was magnetic, daring, and unapologetically self-assured, qualities that drew both fans and fellow actors to him. When Ali and Steve met, the chemistry was immediate. Their first encounters were marked by playful banter and undeniable attraction, and soon the pair found themselves drawn together by mutual admiration and a shared love for adventure. Hollywood insiders whispered that their relationship was as electric as it was public, a perfect storm of passion, glamour, and intensity. Yet, beneath the excitement, early warning signs began to appear. Steve McQueen's intense personality often clashed with Ali's independent spirit. He was known for his stubbornness, his fierce need for control, and occasional mood swings. Ali, on the other hand, was strong-willed, compassionate, and determined to maintain her individuality. Their differences, while initially exciting, would later reveal themselves as sources of tension. The media, always hungry for celebrity gossip, fueled the fascination with their romance. Photographers captured them laughing on film sets, attending premieres and vacationing in exotic locations. Fans idolized their union, painting it as the ultimate Hollywood love story. But what the cameras didn't show was the struggle behind closed doors, the arguments that erupted over misunderstandings, the long stretches of separation during filming, and the growing frustration of two strong personalities trying to coexist under constant scrutiny. Despite these challenges, Ali and Steve's love story continued to unfold publicly as a glamorous dream. Yet, the foundation of their relationship was already showing cracks. Cracks that would eventually widen, revealing the raw reality behind what seemed like perfection. The beginning of their romance was intoxicating, thrilling, and romantic, but it also foreshadowed the turbulence that would later define their marriage. For Ali MacGraw, the journey with Steve McQueen was about to transform from Hollywood fairy tale to a deeply personal test of resilience, patience, and heartbreak. As Ali MacGraw and Steve McQueen's relationship progressed, the public continued to see only the glamour: red carpets, magazine covers, and vacations in the most exotic locales. But behind closed doors, their marriage was beginning to reveal a much darker side. The combination of McQueen's volatility and Ali's desire for independence created a tension that neither could fully resolve, no matter how much love remained. Steve McQueen, despite his charm and charisma, was notoriously difficult in personal relationships. He had a temper that could flare unexpectedly, and his intense personality often made those closest to him feel as though they were walking on eggshells. Ali, by contrast, was independent, intelligent, and outspoken. She valued honesty and emotional openness, qualities that clashed with Steve's tendency to withdraw or retreat when confronted with emotional conflict. Filming schedules made things even more complicated. Both Ali and Steve were in high demand professionally, often spending weeks or months apart on different projects. The distance only magnified the tension when they were together. Arguments could ignite over seemingly minor issues, yet the underlying cause was always rooted in unresolved feelings, miscommunications, and the pressure of maintaining a marriage under constant public scrutiny. Hollywood's glare did not help. Paparazzi captured every moment, from smiling public appearances to whispered quarrels. Rumors swirled in tabloids, often exaggerating minor disputes into sensational headlines. Friends of the couple recall Ali, sometimes feeling trapped, as if she were living a double life, one for the cameras and one for herself, filled with uncertainty and heartache. One of the most challenging aspects of their relationship was Steve's struggle with personal demons. While adored by millions, he battled insecurities and a need for control, which sometimes manifested in jealousy or controlling behavior. Ali often tried to navigate these moods delicately, but even her patience had limits. Friends remember her saying that loving Steve was like holding fire in your hands, thrilling but dangerous. Financial and career pressures also played a role. Both were major stars in their own right, accustomed to making their own decisions and running their professional lives independently. Negotiating joint projects, shared responsibilities, or even time together became a source of friction. Each had to balance personal ambition with marital compromise, and neither always succeeded. Yet, despite the struggles, Ali MacGraw often spoke of Steve McQueen with deep affection. She acknowledged his talents, his charm, and the undeniable connection they shared. The marriage was a paradox, moments of incredible love and passion juxtaposed, with periods of anger, disappointment, and frustration. By the mid-1970s, it became clear that their union, while captivating to the public, was unsustainable. The pressure of celebrity, the clash of personalities, and the unrelenting scrutiny left both of them emotionally drained. The fairy tale that fans had admired from afar was slowly unraveling, revealing the reality of a relationship that was anything but simple. Ali MacGraw's experience in this marriage would ultimately teach her resilience and self-awareness, but it came at a high cost. Emotional exhaustion, heartbreak, and the realization that love alone could not bridge the gap between two complex, strong-willed individuals. As the years passed, the cracks in Ali MacGraw and Steve McQueen's marriage deepened. What had once been a thrilling romance began to feel like a battlefield. The very qualities that had drawn them together, Steve's intensity, Ali's independence, now fueled conflict. Friends and insiders recall that their relationship became a cycle of passionate highs, followed by devastating lows, leaving both parties emotionally exhausted. Steve's workaholic tendencies added strain. He was constantly filming, traveling, and performing stunts that required extreme focus and dedication. While Ali respected his drive, she also longed for a more stable domestic life, one where emotional connection and communication weren't constantly sidelined by career demands. The imbalance created tension that neither could ignore. Jealousy and insecurity were constant undercurrents. Steve, despite his public persona of confidence, struggled with feelings of inadequacy whenever Ali's star shone brightly. She was receiving critical acclaim, awards, and media attention, sometimes even more than him. While he loved her, he could not always hide the resentment that accompanied his pride. Ali, in turn, found herself navigating the complexities of a man who was both deeply charismatic and deeply flawed. The couple's personal conflicts often escalated into arguments that left lasting emotional scars. Small disagreements could erupt into heated confrontations, fueled by past grievances and unspoken frustrations. Friends describe instances where the couple would go days without speaking after a fight, each retreating into their own world rather than finding reconciliation. Outside interference also complicated matters. Hollywood gossip columns, paparazzi, and the constant public attention made privacy nearly impossible. Every outing, every smile, and even minor disagreements were scrutinized, turning personal struggles into public spectacle. Ali often expressed frustration at how their lives were under constant observation, leaving little room for genuine resolution or private healing. Despite the turmoil, there were still moments of tenderness and connection. Ali often spoke about the intense love they shared, the passion, laughter, and moments of joy that reminded her why she had fallen in love with Steve in the first place. Yet these moments were fleeting, overshadowed by the ongoing tension and unresolved issues that no amount of love could fix. By the late 1970s, it became evident that their marriage could no longer sustain itself. The combination of personal incompatibility, relentless career pressures, and the constant public gaze had taken a toll. Friends note that the decision to separate, while heartbreaking, was ultimately an act of self-preservation for both parties. It allowed Ali to reclaim her independence and Steve to continue his career without the constant strain of marital conflict. The end of their marriage was not a quiet one. It was marked by sadness, disappointment, and reflection. Yet it also became a turning point for Ali MacGraw. The experience taught her resilience, self-respect, and the importance of prioritizing personal well-being, even amidst heartbreak. For Steve McQueen, it served as a reminder that love, no matter how passionate, could be complicated by personality, circumstance, and the pressures of fame. Their marriage, anything but glorious, remains one of Hollywood's most talked-about unions, a story of passion, talent, and the painful realities that often lie behind even the most glamorous relationships. After the divorce, Ali MacGraw and Steve McQueen went their separate ways, both professionally and personally, but the aftermath of their relationship lingered long after the headlines faded. For Ali, the end of her marriage marked a period of reflection, growth, and an earnest effort to reclaim her life outside the shadow of Hollywood's most magnetic leading man. She threw herself into her career, choosing projects carefully and seeking roles that allowed her to grow as an actress beyond the glamorous image that had initially defined her. While the public often fixated on her divorce, Ali focused on building a life that emphasized her own identity, away from the pressures of being Steve McQueen's wife. She cultivated close friendships, immersed herself in philanthropic endeavors, and explored personal passions that she had set aside during her tumultuous marriage. For Steve McQueen, the story was different but equally complex. His career continued to flourish, with blockbuster films cementing his legendary status in Hollywood. Yet those close to him often remarked that beneath the confident exterior, the divorce had left emotional marks. He remained the king of cool to millions, yet his personal life, relationships, friendships, and even his approach to work bore the subtle imprints of the heartbreak he had experienced with Ali. The relationship between the two, though no longer romantic, was never completely forgotten. In interviews and memoirs, Ali occasionally reflected on the lessons learned from their marriage. She spoke candidly about the challenges of loving someone who, despite their brilliance, could be emotionally unavailable or difficult to connect with. Yet she also acknowledged the deep affection and passion that had existed between them, a bittersweet chapter that shaped her understanding of love, trust, and resilience. Public fascination with their relationship never fully subsided. Fans, film historians, and gossip columns continued to revisit the story of Ali MacGraw and Steve McQueen, analyzing photographs, anecdotes, and interviews to piece together the private struggles behind the public glamour. For Ali, this attention was a double-edged sword. It kept her story alive, but it also reminded her of a period in life that was emotionally taxing. Despite the turbulence, Ali's life post-divorce demonstrates a narrative of empowerment. She navigated fame, heartbreak, and the pressures of Hollywood with grace and dignity. Her story with Steve McQueen remains a cautionary tale about the costs of passion, the challenges of maintaining love under constant scrutiny, and the necessity of self-preservation. Ultimately, Ali MacGraw's marriage to Steve McQueen was anything but glorious, but it was instructive. It showed that love, no matter how intense, can be complicated by personality differences, public pressure, and personal struggles. It revealed the importance of maintaining one's own identity and emotional health even while deeply involved in a high-profile relationship. Their story continues to resonate as a testament to human vulnerability, the highs and lows of romantic love, and the reality that even the most glamorous couples face challenges that no amount of fame or fortune can easily overcome. For Ali MacGraw, it was a chapter of heartbreak, learning, and ultimately, resilience. A lesson in love that extended far beyond Hollywood's bright lights.